right, welcome to the Osceolas Reeling Them In. That's our recruiting report, and today we are joined by 2025 offensive line prospects Max Buchanan from Sanford Seminole High School. Max, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Glad to be here.
Yeah, well, as you were telling me before we got started, you're kind of had an early day of school, early out on Wednesday. What do you do with the extra hour you get in your day?
I get to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
Later today, I'll be with my aunt, and I've got tutoring. So,
okay. What are you getting? What are you working on in tutoring?
Right now, I'll be working on the ELA.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. We know you're very busy. It's right now recruiting is really picking up for prospects with the class of 2025, with coaches hitting the road at the end of the championship week. Have you had a lot of coaches through your high school?
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot.
Yeah, who all's been through that you've talked to or seen?
So most of them I won't talk to personally because but if I'm not in class and I'm in weight room or I'm at lunch, I'll go talk to them. Like today, I talked to Coach Gibbs out of UCF, and then at the same time, I was talking to Coach Atkins from FSU.
Okay.
And then on, I want to say Monday or Tuesday, I was talking to Tennessee coach, the linebackers coach.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So now we got a bunch of offers for you, but I've got you at Florida State, Clemson, Florida, Ole Miss, Penn State, UCF, and West Virginia, among others. Any new offers that we need to know about?
You've got Florida, LSU.
Okay.
Miami, Penn State, West Virginia, Auburn. Yeah, I think you got everything.
All right. And listen, just so our listeners and viewers get a chance, how many times a day are you getting texts by college football coaches and guys like me, recruiting analysts?
It's a lot, honestly. It is a lot. I've people that I text with on the daily. I've got to pin their name on my phone so I'm not scrolling the whole time trying to find it.
Yeah, well, all right. So I got to ask you this question just to get it out of the way. A lot of the buzz around college football has been about what happened to Florida State getting left out of the playoff. As a current high school football player who's obviously going to end up being a major college football player, what were your initial reaction to them being left out?
Honestly, I was gassed. I was very in shock at the time. Honestly, I think if you're a Power 5 team and you're a conference championship and you're undefeated, you should be in the playoffs. No doubt about it. You should be in the playoffs. And I'm not trying to hate on any of the other teams that are in the playoffs. FSU worked for it, and they overcame a lot of things for it. So they deserve it.
Well, so you obviously you're paying attention to a lot of teams. So outside of Florida State, who would the other three teams that you would have in the playoff be?
Besides, I would have Michigan, I'd have Washington, I'd have FSU, and then honestly, I'm putting on. It's up for grabs. If it was my way, I'd have expedition. I have an expedition game against Bama and Texas, and whoever wins that goes in the playoffs.
So have a playoff to get the playoff started.
Yeah.
All right. I'm with it. Well, good news is we're expanding. Now, do you like the idea of the 12-team playoff better than the 4-team playoff?
100% do. It gives more teams that maybe had a fluke game against someone that's a very good opponent to show that they're really good.
Yeah. Well, speaking of playoffs, before we got started, you said you guys just finished up your season. You went to the semifinal round of the playoffs?
Sure, semifinals.
Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit how your season went, what it was like, and obviously, I think it's hard. It's hard. There's a lot of finality. There's sudden finality at the end of a high school football season like that. How hard has the adjustment been to having free time and the season coming to an end abruptly?
We put in a lot of hard work for it. I definitely think we deserved to go further than we did. But at the same time, the games that we lost, it was because of our actions at practice. We probably had a crappy practice days, a few of them, for us to have that loss. And it definitely showed. We knew Monday we came out there and we had a very sluggish and slow practice, and we knew it was going to show up in the game, and it did. But the free time change, I miss it. Like I come home from school and I'm bored. I don't know. It's just, I'm lost.
Well, before we get into the recruiting stuff, what does a bored Max Buchanan like to do with his free time?
Oh, most of the time, depending on the day, I'll stay after school in the auto body shop and work on cars.
Okay.
And then if it's not one of those days, I come home and I sleep, or I go to tutoring, one of the two.
Well, I remember those days. Sleep was always a good option as a teenager to
Right.
come home, catch a couple hours. Now, what kind of work are you doing on cars, Max?
We're doing engine work.
Okay, so you can get an engine out, get the block out, and start working on it.
Yes, I am. I can.
Okay. Who would you learn that from?
My auto body teacher, Mr. Pramal.
Okay. So do you what's your favorite kind of car?
I like old trucks. I like the old trucks. I have a 1986 F-250.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I need to do engine work on it now, so that's gonna be in the shop pretty soon here. But I like the older trucks.
Now you change your own oil, all of that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so nobody touches your truck except for you.
I gotta do it.
All right. Well, so you're kind of old school. I'm not sure how many 17 or 18-year-olds would say that, but that's pretty cool. All right. So let's go back to your football season. Obviously, you just completed your junior year. What did you think that the strong points of your game were? Where you got better this year, and what are some things that you want to work on as you move forward to your senior year?
I definitely need to work on. I need to put more weight on. I mean, I'm strong, yeah, but I need to put weight on. I can definitely tell when I've gone to interior a few times and I'll be going against bigger guys and there's more weight that I need to put on.
And what is your height and weight right now?
Right now I'm 6'5", probably around 270.
Okay. Now, have you put on some weight since you were in camp? You came for the elite camp this summer. Have you put on weight since then?
So I came to the elite camp and then, I put on weight after that. Okay. I probably coming into the season about 290.
Okay.
And then just from all the work in the season that we put in, I dropped a lot of weight, but I'm putting it back on.
Right. How many meals are you eating in a day?
A lot. I mean, where I can.
How many calories do you think you intake per day?
A rough estimate, 45 to 50.
Right. What's your favorite thing to eat to get those calories?
Oh, burgers. I'll come home and make 2 smash burgers.
All right. So hamburgers, any sides with that?
Oh, yeah. Some macaroni salad. I'll put some gingerbread house, like the little gingerbread man.
Yeah. All right. So a little bit of everything in your diet.
Oh, yeah. A little bit.
You got the protein, you got the starch, you got the sweets. All right. I like it. All right. So listen, you mentioned that Alex Atkins, we're going to talk more, we're going to talk about all of your recruiting, but you've updated us on your offers, but you did mention that Alex Atkins has been in your school this week. Kind of what was his message to you, and what is y'all's relationship like?
We have a very close relationship. Honestly, I'm not like – there's a lot of recruiters out there that are going to be constantly blowing people's phones up like every day, asking and talking to them. But that's honestly that's not how I am. I would like to be in contact at least once a week, maybe once every other week. We get on call or something, but we don't need to have like a steady contact or talk relationship for us to have a good relationship. Me and Atkins, we probably talk once a week, maybe once every other week, and he didn't even tell me he was coming to my school. He just popped up.
All right.
He's very blunt and honest with it, so I like him a lot.
Yeah. What has he said that Florida State likes about you as a football player, as an offensive lineman?
My versatility. I can play everywhere on the O-line, and also that they were saying, so Norvell came down to one of our games, and afterwards I was talking to him, and he was like, "You're a dog. You're a dog." Proud to be.
All right. So now let's switch to Coach Norvell. What's your relationship like with him? When you guys talk, what do y'all talk about? And obviously, when I hear dog, first thing I think of is a tough guy. I'm sure that's what he's referring to. Do you think you're a tough-minded player?
I would say I am. I would like to say I am.
And all right. So what is kind of the Mike's message to you, and what do you guys talk about when you talk?
Honestly, we have a very open conversations. It might not always be about football every day. He'll text me when he's going to practice, and I'll text him afterwards, and we'll talk about how the practices went. And at the same time, we'll also talk about life. It's not always football.
All right. And what are some of the things that you have learned from Alex and Mike as you guys have about them, about life? Because we hear a lot from a lot of recruits is that there's a lot of things that are talked about, just not football.
Yes. I've learned there's a lot of BS in the recruiting industry. I mean, I try to filter out the BS, and they tell me they don't like tell me anything that's not true. They tell me straight up honest. If I need to work on something, I go and I work on it, and they tell me what it is. But at the same time, they also tell me go to these schools, go look at them. Every school is going to have like the same facilities and like the locker room. It's all going to be nice at every school, but learn from the coaches and how they are and how they coach, and see if you can fit in there.
Yeah. Now, listen. Has there ever been a coach that's walked in and I'm not going to ask you to name the name of the guy or the school, but there's ever been a guy that you've walked in and talked to and they walk out and you're just like, man, that is BS.
Yeah, no. I don't know if they realize that. I noticed that. Honestly, I don't know. It's happened with more than one coaches, and sometimes with the same coach multiple times.
Okay. All right, so they just come in and do their thing, and you're like, all right, I'm glad that's over.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Listen, your recruiting has gotten so big. Everybody's recruiting office has grown. Is there anybody outside of Alex Atkins and Mike Norvell, Florida State staff, that you're talking to on a regular basis?
Honestly, the whole staff.
Okay. All right.
And any of the staff member I can come up to and talk at any time I'm over there, and they could call me at any time, and we would know exactly who each other are, and we could just talk like I've known them before.
Okay. All right. So what is your favorite thing about recruiting right now? What is the thing that you enjoy the most about it?
The people that I meet when I go on like these recruiting visits, I meet a lot of new people.
Okay.
And honestly, it helps me because then I can talk to those people about the schools and coaches and how their recruiting is going, and I can learn more about it from a different perspective.
Okay. All right. What's your least favorite thing about recruiting?
The decision. It's yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever wish the offers would quit coming so you just have a set number?
No, because I'm always trying to improve. I want everything. I mean, I might be selfish, but I want it all. I'm sorry, your mic's cut out.
Did you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. What did you think about Florida State's season, and what do you think about their offensive line?
Their offensive line, I mean, there's some dogs on their offensive line. They got some great players and people that have stepped up amazingly. I've realized that there's a few people that are transferred out, but I was talking to Atkins about that today, and it's nothing about relationship. It was just they wanted to go somewhere else.
A place where they could play more, probably, I would think.
Yeah. So their season, I mean, they went 13-0. What else can you do?
Yeah. Now, what do you make of all the? I mean, not just at Florida State; it's happening everywhere. What do you make of the transfer portal when you see all these guys at all these schools jumping in?
I don't understand it. If you're gonna go to a school that you can stay at, that you can build that relationship on. I mean, I'd understand if there's like a real reason for you to transfer out, but if you're transferring out just because the school hasn't done good, stay there and build on top of it. Help recruit at that point and get other people there with you so you can play good.
All right. Yeah. Now listen, you're getting to the point where you're probably 7 months from being able to start taking official visits if you choose to take some during the summer. And obviously there used to be a mandate that you only take 5. Now you can take at least one to as many schools as you want. The other trips would have to be unofficials if you wanted to go back to a school a second time. But if I had to ask you, if you only had 5 schools that you could visit, if you want to answer the question, you can. If you don't, we'll phrase it another way, and we'll just talk about the schools that stand out to you. But if you had 5 schools that you could visit, who would they be?
FSU would definitely be up there. Clemson, LSU. Those would be the 3 that I would have to go visit.
Okay.
Miami. I need to go visit Miami. and then that fifth one would probably be up for grabs.
Okay. All right. So just when I say Florida State, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Winning.
Okay. When I say Clemson, what's the first thing that hits your head?
The school.
Okay. LSU.
LSU, the atmosphere.
Okay. Miami.
I just think of
Are you old enough to remember? You weren't even born when Miami Vice was a show. You should go back. You should check. There's a movie called Miami Vice. Pretty good. All right. So when I say Mike Norvell, what do you think?
I think of Knowles. Just the everyone going like this in the stadium.
Yeah. All right. So Dabo Sweeney.
Death Valley.
Okay. Brian Kelly.
The Tiger that they got on campus.
You don't think about him dancing with the quarterback on that little thing that's going round and round that came out years ago?
That one too, but
all right, and then Mario Cristobal.
Mario Cristobal, O-line.
Okay. All right, yeah, because he was a former offensive lineman, of course. All right, so what is your favorite thing about football, Max? What is the one thing that you love about football?
I mean, it might sound mean, but I just like hitting people in the mouth.
Okay. No, that's not mean. That's what you're supposed to be as an offensive lineman. Some of it's gone away because everything's finesse these days. What kind of offense do y'all run?
We run a very rounded offense. We run the ball a lot, but at the same time, right when you think we're going to run it down your throat, we're going to pull in and throw it 40 yards downfield and bomb on top of people's heads.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, let me when you've talked about these 4 schools, and obviously you got some really good schools that you would consider for a 5th visit if there were only 5. But anyway, we know you can go as many as you want. What are some of the things that you are looking for in a football program, in a university, as you start to get near the decision-making point where you could, start taking official visits in July or June, actually?
A family atmosphere between the coaches and players. I mean, might not be always a family atmosphere when you're at practice, but at the same time, once you come off practice, you should be close to your coaches and even coaches that aren't your coaches, maybe defensive coach or something. I need to have a campus that will help me do good in school at the same time, because football it's not life.
Now, speaking of that, what is your interest outside of football from an education standpoint?
From an education standpoint, I would like, when I go to college, I want to major in agriculture.
Okay. All right. So what do you want to do with that when you're done playing ball?
I want to own a 2,500 acre ranch with about 1,000 head of cattle. Maybe.
So you want to be a cowboy?
Yeah, I want to be a cowboy.
All right. So you want to ride horses and mend fences and herd cattle. All right. So are you going to grow anything on your farm?
I might section some of it off to grow some hay and have some hunting land on the backside.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, there's a lot of room in Central Florida for you got some beautiful land towards your neck of the woods. I know that for sure. I've got one of my buddies, his wife is from the Stanford area, and so I've been there. You're pretty close to the fern capital of the world, right? What's the name of that town? Pearson?
What, say it again?
Is it Pearson that's the fern capital of the world down there?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Apopka.
Okay. Apopka. Okay. All right. Well, all right. So you've mentioned Coach Norvell. You mentioned what you're looking for in a school. If you could, the NIL thing has become a big deal in college football recruiting and college football retention of players. If you were going to sign an NIL agreement with a company, if you could just pick one company to represent, who would it be?
Ooh. Hey, dudes, the shoes.
Okay. All right. So we'll see. We got you started on one right now. They'll hear this, and all of a sudden you'll have an NIL deal. Just kick me back like $10. We'll call it even. All right. So obviously you're still early in your recruitment. Do you have a timeline in mind as far as about committing to a school? Will that be before your senior year, or are you just going to play the string out and see what happens?
I definitely want to get it before my senior year. Probably early summer. I'll be committing.
Okay. And who is going to help you? I think I heard your mom in the background. Who else helping you make your decision?
It's going to be my mom and my dad and my coaches.
Okay. All right. Well, Max, I know I probably took more of your time than you thought, but we do appreciate you spending time with us. And obviously, I will stay in touch. The Osceola will stay in touch. But having been in the game, I know what you're going through. So I really appreciate you do. I know you got, like I said, coaches calling you, tweeting, texting, Instagramming, whatever, however y'all talk these days. I don't know if any coaches are TikToking with you or not, but I do appreciate the time, and we will definitely stay in touch. So we'd like to thank Max Buchanan for joining us, and Max, we will be back in touch for sure. But thank you for joining us on Reeling Him In, and wish you the best of luck as you continue to go through the process. And I've watched your film, and you're a really good football player. You're fun to watch. You are a tough kid, and I think as you get bigger, you're probably just going to get stronger and meaner.
Yes, sir. Thank you a lot.
All right, Max. Have a good one, buddy.